Hey guys, so here's the notes for section 2. You guys are going to be solving linear equations. Okay, so remember in our last section we talked about expressions. So expressions is basically when there's no equal sign, okay? You have variables, you have constant terms, so on. But with an equation, you will have an equal sign. And basically that means you're going to solve it, okay? And then when we solve it, these are what we call our solutions. Now, here's some properties that basically you should already know, like the addition, that means you're adding, subtraction, multiplication, division. So what this means is that, like, when you move things over, you're either going to add, subtract, multiply, or divide. Okay, let's do our example 1. These are solving a variable on one side, meaning that there's only one variable in the entire equation. So our first one, we're going to solve 4/5 x plus 8 equals 20. Now remember, anytime we are solving a multi-step equation, which this is, we either add or subtract first, then we divide or multiply. So the first thing we need to do here is we're going to subtract 8. So when we are doing our multi-step equations, we always do the opposite of what we see. So we see a plus 8, we need to subtract it to the other side. So now we have 4/5 x equals, we do 20 minus 8, that gives us 12. Okay. Now on this problem, notice that we do have a fraction. Now this can be done in multiple ways. We could, one is multiply by what we call the reciprocal, okay? That means when we do the reciprocal, we flip the fraction. Now we could do this in 2 steps, meaning that we can multiply by 5 and then divide by 4, or just multiply both sides by 5/4, okay? Now, some of you might say, yes, we can also divide by 4/5. That is correct, but you really have to be careful if you are doing that, especially in your calculator. So we did divide by 4/5. Let me just do that here, okay? If you are doing this in your calculator, you have to use parentheses. So meaning we will have to do 12 divided by, then parentheses 4 divided by 5. If you don't use the parentheses around the 4/5, you're not going to get the correct answer. So we get 15. Now let's try this if we multiply both sides by the reciprocal. So as I said, the reciprocal means we flip the fraction. So we're going to multiply both sides by 5/4. Okay? So basically, the 5/4 and the 4/5, they cancel out. We're left with x equals. Now, notice the 12, that's going to be in the numerator because it's really thinking 12 over 1 if we multiply. So when I do 12 times 5, that's going to give me 60, and we'll have it over 4. So we have 60 over 4. We definitely need to simplify, so when you divide this, you get 15, which that's what we got when we divided by 4/5. Now I am going to show you another way, as I said, because we can take this in multiple forms. Now if you wanted to do this in 2 steps, you could do that as well. So instead of multiplying by the reciprocal, we could multiply both sides by the denominator. In this case, the denominator is 5, that cancels out. Now we're still left with 4x, and we have equals to 60. Now we can divide both sides by 4, because that's the opposite of multiplication, and when we do that, we get 15. Okay? So we have multiple ways of solving this when we have fractions. Just be careful of which way you use, okay? Okay, let's go ahead. Let's look at the next one. I would like actually you guys to pause the video and try this one on your own. Okay, let's see what you got. So this one should be a little bit easier because there's no fractions. The first thing is, notice we have minus 41. We need to do the opposite, which is adding 41, okay? So you always add or subtract first. You get 7x equals 28. Now 7x that's being multiplied, we do the opposite, which is division. So I get x equals 4. Okay, make sure you guys watch the next part of this video where we are going to be solving with 2 variables.